welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello.
Excellent morning.
How you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing great.
Hello to the audience. Everybody. Good to have you guys. Thank you so much for always coming on Wednesdays. And as you know, we don't pay you to come here. They come here free of charge. They've come here willingly, voluntarily. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. We don't take you for granted. And those of you at home, please feel free to come. Always come anytime. So ladies, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Amazing.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Right, so we're going to start today with the nation. Police shake-up coming to stem rising crime wave. Buhari seeks help to end Boko Haram. Alleged forgery, court grants a delicate 2 million naira bill. Youths to El Rufai, our godfather is progressive. Iwasile. Pinnick, charged with $8,400 and 4 billion naira fraud. Let's take the godfather because the IG is all over the papers. So let's take that godfather story. Who has that story?
So I have the story. The Yoruba Council of Youths, they came out to warn El Rufai, saying that his statement is, there's a word they use, absurdly insulting. Yeah. That he has a lot of insecurity in his state, there's a lot of fear in his state, and he's coming out to say that Lagos is bedeviled by godfatherism, that their godfathers are, the godfatherism practice in Lagos is progressive. They are able to achieve certain things like, making sure that the opposition is strong enough, even reinstating the government twice. 2 tenors now, the president, 2 tenors. So they are doing a lot with their own godfatherism. So he has no right, he has no moral justification.
Also, our guy, Mr. Kolade told you yesterday on Journalist Hangout, responded in details as well. So I think you should catch that one on YouTube on how there's no government in this country that can say it didn't get into power under one person's influence on the other. And if you look at the influence, that's godfatherism. So.
Okay, actually, I think it's a debate.
Yeah. If El Rufai
or not to be, should we have it? So I think it's a good debate, and I think maybe what's that debate show?
The big issue.
Would actually deal with it. I think it's worth talking about. Let's move on now to the Nigerian Tribune. Insecurity, shortage of personnel hampering operations. People susceptible to asthma should avoid cockroach, cats, and a bunch of others. Electoral Amendment Bill. Reps approve substitution of death candidates in election within 7 years. Nigeria's leadership model favors godfathers, not people, says Dogara. Adeleke in court, granted 2 million naira bail. EFCC recovers over 1 trillion naira in 3 years. Assembly adopts report to appoint new emir in Kano. Okay, let's talk about the IGP. You want to talk about that, Mariam?
The IGP.
Okay,
go ahead, Mariam.
Okay, so the IGP was invited to the House yesterday, and they had almost a 3-hour session. And the House just wanted to find out what is happening with insecurity in our country, and how, although they use the word nip it in the bud, I think it's past nipping it in the bud now. So, and how to, stop it. The IGP said, well, what they've done so far, they have redeployed a lot of police officers, and that is one of top police officers. That's one of their ways of doing it. But the truth is that the police is ill-equipped. There's shortage of funds and personnel and all sorts of materials to fight this. The police cannot do that. So it took many hours of...
About 2.5 hours. Yes, and they actually plan to recruit 10,000 policemen.
Yes, in response to the rising spate of insecurity, he's saying that there will be another...
Yes, and there will be another...
I would like to see a recruitment jet towards solving the issues, not usual recruitment to solve unemployment. Joblessness, just find your way into the police. And then when you get there, you start to complain about the motivation package, the quality of payment.
Our president said he's doing well because he's losing weight. So we're sure he's doing a lot of work. Honestly, he's losing the weight.
I love the fit and proper, on fitness, shape and all that IGs not the usual big
Yeah, you know, we're saying it.
Does that translate to?
Let me ask them. Let me ask them.
We're just talking.
We're just
saying that they look
Quickly,
smart.
the
Move on to
asthma
Daily
story.
Sun. Oh, the asthma story. Go ahead.
So yesterday was World Asthma Day, and Nigeria joined other nations to celebrate that day. And experts have said that people who are prone to asthma should avoid certain triggers like cockroaches, cats, fumes from your gen and your kerosene stove. So, and once you know that you are prone to asthma, you should make sure that you take your medications and visit the hospitals.
You know the answer to that is that just leave Nigeria. Because how would you leave fumes, rats, cockroaches? They're everywhere. If you have asthma, don't be in Nigeria.
All right, let's move on to Daily Trust. Kano lawmakers set to approve 4 new emirates. Buhari says, I know the weight of my responsibility. My abductors were paid 5 million naira ransom, says OAU professor. FG inaugurates committee on community policing. Okay, let's take the major headline, Kano.
Yes, Kano State House of Assembly have decided, well, I think they may approve the creation of 4 new emirates, and that is to sort of break down the Kano Emirate as we know it. And in their way, people are suggesting, are alleging that this is the governor's way of sort of punishing the emir because he supported a different candidate for the governorship. Although the governor says he has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But there are people who are happy about this development. The people from these areas, the Rano, Gaya, Bichi, Karai, all these people are happy about it. But most people think it's just a way of clipping the wings of
I
the
think one of their
area.
senators, Kwakanso, was saying that it's very wrong that if this is going to happen at all, the people should be able to initiate it.
Yes.
And it's wrong for any lawmaker to come up with this.
House of Assembly
House of
to
Assembly.
leave their business of, of checking the excesses of the executive and focus so well on creating emirates and traditional matters. And
In a related issue?
In a related issue, there's a, sorry, I had
Deputy Speaker.
Yes, so they've approved life pension for the speaker and deputy speaker, and they did the law well and said, okay, except they run for office or another office, maybe for them moving to whatever other political career that they might have, that they lose their pension. But this is life pension, and I want to see, because the governor is saying I don't have a hand in them having 4 other emirates. I want to see the governor assent to this bill.
So
remember, this is the same governor that we saw a video of
The
him.
video we have not
They said that the video was
investigated.
probably doctored.
Which of
but this is the same governor that the executive, the legislature should have actually checked the
The
fact
only
that the
people
video showing
who
him
had the power, not the
passing dollar
president.
around.
This bill
Who
now.
had the power to investigate that video, the authenticity of that video.
They didn't do that.
And do the proper thing on that video, did nothing.
This
but
bill
they have
now.
the time for the Emir of Kano. I want to run for House of Assembly in Kano.
This bill will be providing.
They don't have lawmakers.
Yeah.
The bill will be providing foreign medical trips
once a year.
once a year for them, and changing their vehicles for every 4 years. So we are
Doesn't
still.
that really doesn't
Everybody should go and serve then.
because a government is paying
And they said that
a member of the house every year to go abroad.
Go abroad.
one of the lawmakers said that there's economic allowance for this, meaning that they're financially capable to continue to pay speakers.
Please, let's move
But
on.
remember, this is also the state that is trying to solve all the problems by marriage.
At the same time.
The government is giving them shy.
The only right-thinking person in that state is the Emir of Kano.
You have to go and run, Nima.
Okay, let's move on to there's one that story. Buhari says, I know the weight of my responsibility. Who has that story?
I have the story. So he attended the Ramadan at the state's mosque yesterday, and he was saying that he will not let Nigerians down, that he knows what we need in the country and is working tirelessly to provide oriented leadership for us. So we are waiting to see what that means at the end of the day.
Moving on now to the punch. NFF. Pinnick says 4 others charged with $8,000 and 4 billion naira fraud. Adeleke arraigned for forgery, gets 2 million naira bail permission for US trip. Nigeria needs leaders who shouldn't serve godfathers, says Dogara. We are not leaving Nigeria, says Wemko. My Fulani kidnappers got 5 million naira ransom, says OAU lecturer. And Afenifere Ohane is a knock presidency for likening them to Mayeti Allah. Let's start with Pinnick.
So the NFF boss, Mamadu Pinnick, and his vice and some other officials of the NFF have been charged with financial impropriety for, they received 8,000 plus money for
$8,400.
money for appearance at the FIFA 2014 Brazil, and they also mismanage. They are accused of mismanaging or moving around 4 billion naira money meant for the NFF. And I wanted to read the charges clearly.
Yeah.
But my phone is...
Well, with what I read, he didn't tell me, according to the charges, that they were found with the money in their own personal accounts. What he said was that they moved it in without proper approvals.
The prosecution accused the defendant of criminal conspiracy, criminal breach of trust, theft, criminal misappropriation in respect of the handling of this said amount of money. So that is serious enough.
Okay.
Remember the story of the OAU prof?
Oh, yeah, let's talk about the OAU for a
so
second.
he has a ransom has been paid for his release, which is 5 million that they paid. The kidnappers had asked for 30 million, but they're able to negotiate for 5 million. He's safe. He says he thanks God for his return, but he's urging the government to do something about unemployment for the youths, because they find themselves, because there's no job, taking all sorts of crimes and things like that.
Okay, the Dogara story, go ahead.
So he has said that financial corruption is really not our disease, that what we need in the country is true leadership, and we need leaders who will not serve godfatherism. I believe this is also one of the ways that we handle our issues in the country, where we treat it at the top. What is the cost of having godfatherism in our nation? Because the political system is very expensive. So you need a godfather to push you there, and when he puts you there, he has to get his money back. It's like an investment, it's business. So we should start from making our political system in the country cheap enough for anyone who truly wants to serve.
That's debatable, because in godfathers, you can have a godfather who's progressive, and who's not totally interested in getting money back, but is interested in developing people. So it's debatable. However, you're right. We need to change the way we get our leaders, so that people don't feel they owe anybody anything. Okay, let's move on to the next paper. There was another story that caught my attention, actually, but let's move on. Daily Sun. Ngige, NLC in messy fight. Will block minister anywhere we see him, says Waba. I can't be intimidated, says Labour Minister. Okay, now. And the picture here of Senator Adeleke.
Sweating.
See her stressing this man. See how he removed the cap, cleaned his face, cleaned his head, everything. Please, they should take it easy. Honestly,
we've been sweating in our houses every day.
This is a very, very
He hasn't danced in a long time.
This is Davido's uncle. What kind of disrespect is that? Please.
We don't like deal with the headline.
We don't like the way you are treating him.
Before we go to Senator Adeleke, so the Nigerian Labour Congress are attacking Ayuba Waba, is facing the Labour ministers directly for refusing to approve the board of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund. And on this board, the Labour is supposed to be represented by a former Labour chairperson. What's his name again?
Is it Waba?
No, not Waba. Waba is the present one. The former one from Delta State, who was, nominated, and not Oshomola, and he was he's refusing. He's refusing to allow this person to put the board in place, to Kukori, to allow them go work. So the Labour are insisting that you came to me. Waba is saying that the minister told him personally that he had a problem with Kukori, because he felt that Kukori will come in and then he's incorruptible as such. So, so that he's quoted in the Sun to have said that.
Please, what are you doing to our senator?
It's sweating.
This is not fair.
We sweat every day in our houses.
Senator Adeleke was arraigned at a magistrate's court.
Some people sweat a lot. It has nothing to do with it.
The sweating will help him, when as a senator.
But thank God they allowed him to travel. Yeah. He has approval now to travel, which is good.
Two courts has granted him bail and granted him his passport to go to court, to be able to travel out of the country for medical grounds. And
is sick?
The magistrate's court has upheld that.
Okay.
All of them are sick now.
Okay, let's try to squeeze in one more paper. Guardian, protesters block Yemi Osinbajo's convoy, accuse army of land grab. Kano Assembly passes life pension bill for speaker and deputy. Malaria may never be eliminated in Nigeria as efforts suffer setbacks. Let's talk about our vice president being stopped in Abuja.
Yeah, so the vice president was on his way out of Abuja yesterday, and the people of Abuja, Agbayi especially, Bagi, yes, and they stopped him. They stopped his convoy. They were protesting the grabbing of their land by the military, they said, the Nigerian army. They claim they are being treated as second-hand citizens. They are indigents of that place, and yet their land is being taken away from them to build the new head office for the Nigerian army. The Nigerian army is saying that we got our papers legally. So if you have any problem with us, please go to the court for redress.
And they're also saying that compensate us.
Yeah, so they're saying that they're taking this land without compensation. But the VP did what he does well, which is was able to calm them.
Yeah.
They said they felt better after he spoke with them.
Leadership.
Yeah.
You come
So he
down
said
from the
he
car
will make sure
and
that they
address the
find a
issue.
sustainable way
Right,
to deal.
yeah. That's what we
with
expect.
I
when
believe they should be
when people see
compensated.
leaders do that, you just tend to feel
feel
like
confident.
something's going on.
So
Okay, let's move on. Vanguard, I think we've taken all the stories in Vanguard, so let's move on very quickly. This day, Vogue, Arise Fashion Week, first world-class African runway show. Do you want to take that story?
Yes, I want to take that story. I love fashion. So, Arise Fashion Week has come and gone. But what made this one, of course this happens annually, but what made this one very special, it was represented, there were so many international representatives. These are names that we know for those of us that follow fashion. Edward Enninfil, Naomi Campbell, Andre Leon Talley, all these people were here. And there was something Naomi Campbell said. Naomi Campbell said, Africa deserves to be championed and recognized as well. On the same playing field with everyone, so we thank you.
And you recognize Naomi Campbell.
Well done.
Well done.
Mariam is proud of you.
Yeah.
Mariam is very proud of all of you. Okay, let's go on a break and talk about normal issues that normal people go through. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So stress is almost inevitable, especially among workers. Report has it that 7 million Nigerians suffer from stress annually. To shed more light on how stress can be managed in these NEPA issues, we have the managing consultant, Promal Academy Limited, Mr. Samuel Amubieya. Welcome to the show, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. Before we even get to those things that are stressing us, could you tell us what is stress exactly? Because sometimes we mix up the definitions of what stress is, that maybe you're tired, you're worried, or you're just generally feeling a bit ill, compared to if you're being stressed out. So could you help us define what exactly is stress?
Thank you very much. Let's go in a layman way so that everybody will be at the same page with us. Think of something that gets you overwhelmed, as if you are handling something that is greater than your capacity. Take, for example, you have 3/1. 1 is smaller, but 3 is greater. So it can weigh you down, it can weary you, it can burden you, it can kill you. So any situation, any circumstance that you seem being overwhelmed, you are under stress.
Right. Now that sounds like the average Nigerian
Life.
lifestyle, because everything weighs us down. As I said earlier, you don't have
No
electricity. I mean, yesterday something happened. I'm going to talk about it later on. I mean, it was so stressed out yesterday for us, you know. And now, but the difference is that I could handle it. I knew how to solve the problem.
That's it.
So there's no light. I know how to go and buy fuel for my generator. So I've solved that. So it's no more stress. So is it only things that you know you cannot handle that is stress, or things you can actually find a way to manage?
You see, stress itself is not a bad thing.
Okay.
Because without stress, I couldn't have gotten to this place this morning.
Okay.
You must have exerted a little bit of energy, force.
Okay.
So we have positive stress and we have a negative stress.
Okay.
So positive stress is what we refer to as eustress. For example, if you are laboring now to give birth, it's a stress. That also, but it's a positive one. If you are running a race to win the trophy, it's a stress. You are passing through a stress, but it will be a positive one. But the other negative aspect of it is what we call distress. Distress, if it's not properly managed, it wearies you. It kills your morale. It can even terminate you, as in total killing,
But
total
you know, there's something
death.
that happens with us now is we have learned to cope. We have developed coping mechanism. And so because we're able to cope, sometimes we feel that it's not stressful. But then we'll now go to the hospital or we sit down, we talk with someone, then we now realize that we are stressed. When you are able to cope, does that make it no longer stressful?
Let's consider this situation. You know, under stressful condition, there are some hormones in your body that has to rise, like adrenaline and cortisol. Now, even if you are managing the stress, does that remove the fact that the hormone at the high end? No. But by the time you get to the hospital, there's sometimes they will advise you, please, switch off your phone, switch everything. Even if you can switch yourself off internally, you advise. Because they know, but for the fact that you have been coping with it, it's taking you to instrumental death. You are dying gradually.
Okay. So I've been doing a lot of reading, and I had a discussion with one of my mentors who is a spiritual leader. Okay. And he was explaining to me that most times we are stressed because we see what we are going through as stress. And he gave me a typical example. Two people are in traffic. One person uses that opportunity in that traffic to have a productive discussion with somebody else, enjoying that traffic before they get home. Another person is stressing out in the traffic. He wants to cut corners, take this way, take that way. I can't stand this traffic. At the end of the day, because of the mindset you have that this is stress, is what really stresses you and not the situation. So what do you have to say about that?
Can I add to that? Okay. In that same example she just gave, the person who is having a conversation and trying to enjoying, your body is still stressed because you are still
the hormones are still
so the hormones will still come. So yeah, you might at that moment you might not be stressed, but eventually you feel the repercussion. Yes or no?
No, it's a different thing.
No, let's look at that in this form.
Okay.
Let's look at the physiology of the stress itself.
Okay.
I have a normal system now. You send a signal that perturbs my systems. Maybe, okay, if I'm your worker, I've not done what I'm supposed to do for the day.
Okay.
I just jam you on the way. And you say, Mr. Sam, what about the report? You have sent a signal to me. My system gets perturbed. Maybe I've known that I've not even started doing the job.
Okay.
So my system will be perturbed. Hormone comes up. I'm under stressful condition already.
Okay.
Now, if you are in a traffic, I just convert that situation to a relaxed mode. You have sent signal to your brain that I'm no under stress. Look at what is happening when there is.
He was right.
What is happening on the Redeem Camp or the Lagos Ibadan Expressway when there is a heavy traffic there, when there is heavy duty traffic. Now, some people can decide to just get out of the place and be playing 10-10 and be enjoying themselves. They have succeeded in converting that stress into a very joyful atmosphere, which is a relaxation mode, which is one of the ways
of handling
stress.
So I wanted us to talk about the hormones that you talked about. I need to understand, first of all, the hormones that, stress brings out and what damage or benefit they have.
Okay. Now, we have, let's do it in this way. We have happiness hormone and the stress-associated hormone. Now, happiness hormone, we'll be talking of serotonin, be talking of endorphin. Now,
Oxytocin.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Are you a biochemical formula?
I'm just a life coach.
Okay, that's a good. Now, the other side, adrenaline and cortisol. When this this stress hormone jack up, it beeps up your pulse. Pe. You know what that means? The BP is going up. You are tending toward the grave side of life.
Let's talk normal Nigerian parlance. Okay. We live in Lagos, or we live in this country, and the average thing stresses us out, Now, how do we manage that situation? Because it's difficult to interpret or to redefine that stress because it's in your face.
Yeah.
Your daughter's school fees is due. Your landlord is knocking on the door. You have your guy just sacked you, and you don't have any source of income. It is reality. There's no way you can transfer that in any nice way. How do you manage that situation?
This is what I refer to as economic stress.
Okay.
There's no way to manage economic stress other than to get your economic improved. There's no Yoruba will say, Yoruba will tell you that Abuja Osilorun Okwe. The way you went, that's the way you come out. So look at it. There was a friend of mine that was in the hospital some time ago, and they checked his BP. They said the BP is high. They wanted to give him drug. He said, please, the only drug that you can administer now, let an alarm just sound on my phone. You will see the BP crashing. We will now be begging the BP to come up. So economically, we just have to improve ourselves. And this boils down to the leadership. All we are saying now, we cannot exempt the leadership. We are running bad leadership. Tending towards zero now. I know, if you look at an average Nigerian now, if you see 10 people on the way now, 8 are hungry.
So true.
7 are talentedly getting annoyed.
Aye. Oga.
Anointedly annoyed. So you see it in the faces of people. So the only antidote to hunger, to economic situation, is to provide enabling environment. Let people, it's killing.
Okay, see, when you were coming, I was saying, thank God. Even when I said, somebody's going to help us learn how to. But now, listening to you, is there hope for managing stress?
Yes, there is hope.
Okay,
now,
please.
Let's go back to our working world in our offices. There are some conditions that are responsible for stressful condition in your working place. If I may ask you to now, the report you are supposed to submit by 12 today, is it on ground? Is it ready?
Mine is not.
Okay.
But I'm my own boss.
Okay. Do you know that could serve as a stressor?
It is stressful.
Wow.
Anything that triggers stress is a stressor.
Let's go on a break.
Okay.
When we come back, we want you to now tell us what are the effects.
Okay.
If you are stressed, what are the effects of this stress and how we can manage it best.
Okay.
Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, yes, I just had a question.
Yeah, when I was working as a teacher in a school, we had teachers who, instead of doing the things they're supposed to do at the time that they have, in the mornings, in the afternoon, while you're still handling the children, they lazy around, gisting from class to class. Then when it's time for them to, you know, submit whatever it is they're submitting for the day, because we submit the planners and everything every day, you see them running helter-skelter. Everybody's, you know, trying to, trying to meet up with the task that they are supposed to have done early. And then you see teachers in class staying as late as 7, 8 p.m. because they have backlog of work that they're supposed to do. And I got into trouble because at that time, I would finish my work on time. And once it's 4, I carry my bag and I'm going. So they reported me that I was always going early once we close. But that was the closing time I had in my letter. So how do you get yourself organized in a workplace so that you avoid the stress you give to yourself?
Thank you very much for that brilliant scenario. Now, there's this term that called eating the frog. Do you know frog?
Yes.
Is it palatable meat to eat?
Mbano.
But
Except you're Chinese.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but go ahead.
once you can eat the frog in the morning, there's tendency there's no meat for that day that will not be able to devour. That's the worst thing, the worst case scenario that could happen in meeting arena. You now eat frog. If chicken comes, you devour it. So look at that, the onerous tax you have on your activities. Handle it first. All of that thing
fall into place.
Now, because we have very little time left, I want you to explain to us the effects of stress. Once you're stressed out, what are the things that can happen?
Symptoms that you know.
The symptoms also, and even what happens when you're stressed out, so that people can try to avoid it.
Okay. We look at the physical effect. We talk of increase in pulse. It can increase your BP. You know, when your BP is increased beyond normal, it can lead to stroke. Stroke can take someone to grave, from grave to hellfire or heaven, wherever wherever he chooses to be. Now, that's number one. Emotionally, when you are stressed up, little thing, you get angry. Look at an average man at home that couldn't afford normal setup for the home. Just ordinary little thing, it flares up.
How can that kind of person manage it?
What is it?
When you flare up and you're stressed yourself, what can you do to solve that stress?
Now, at that very point, understand that that very situation you find yourself, at that very moment, there's nothing you can do to it other than to just calm yourself down, breathe in, and exhale.
Okay, so we have to round up, unfortunately. Maybe we still have to bring you back at some point to help. But I think what we've gotten so far from you is economic stress. There's nothing you can do about that one. You have to just change your economic status. Yeah. There are other kinds of stresses that you eat the frog early, that are difficult. You have tasks available. Do the most difficult first, and the others that become easy. And then the last one you said on how to manage regular style, just think of the good things. Take a nice walk. Take a deep breath. It sends oxygen through your veins and gives you that replenished energy. Think of the nice things of life. Remove yourself from that situation. And hopefully by the time you come back, you're eased out.
Refreshed.
I think we need to summarize a bit what you said. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We'll bring you back again, don't worry, trust me. We need to learn more from you. That's all we can take. We want to deal with one major stressor in our lives. Never. Thank God. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So today we'll be focusing on revamping of the disco contracts, megawatt drop, the energy theft, mega bypass, among many others. Joining us once again is Executive Director Annette and the spokesman for all discos, Chief Sunday Odunton. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Welcome back.
Once again, you can call us on 070-806-6814. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right. The first question I'd like to ask you is my own personal stress. That yesterday morning, we noticed a major pole fell off on CMG Road. That's a major, that actually sends the main power to the other estates. Now, it fell off yesterday morning. In 24 hours, it hasn't been put, well, I think this morning, the pole was pulled back up, but the wires have been disconnected. So obviously, they're still working on it. My question to you is, when infrastructure materials come down, how long should it take discos to fix? How long do we have to wait? And and sometimes it causes loss of lives. When somebody steps on the wire or something happens. When that happens, does the disco take responsibility or is it passed on to the federal government? How is it managed?
Well, thank you very much. Anytime there is a fault or a problem like that, a falling pole, normally the disco should act as soon as possible, within 12 hours maximum. Sometimes it depends on the location, but in the case of CMD, which is quite even close to the headquarters of the disco, the issue is that a major equipment that the discos are now trying to acquire, now ECO has done that, others are coming up with it. Sure. It's called SCADA, SCADA. It's an equipment that enables a disco from a control room remotely to see their network live. Okay. Even TCN, Transmission Company of Nigeria, owned by the federal government, does not have it. These are very sad. I know it's expensive, but with that, you can actually see things. So what we rely on in this country, in the power sector, sadly, is that whenever anything happens, we need the customer to be the one to report, a passerby or one of our staff who maybe a marketer that distributes bills. And honestly speaking, I've seen occasion when one madam, the marketer who distributes bills, will see that a fault with the customer's transformer or people that have not had light maybe for a week or some days. Instead of her to report back to the office, she won't say anything, or he, and because they don't know, they will not be there to fix it, which is terrible. And there's no excuse for that at all. Okay. I can only apologize for such things. Okay. But again, now that you said they have straightened the pole, it means that they're aware and they're doing something on it. But my own feedback, and what I would take back always, is that even when you are doing that, we need to do it as quickly as possible. But another thing, when there's a problem like that, for that area to be reconnected back, there are certain safety critical steps that have to be taken. Right. It's not enough to just connect wires. to now connect it and make it live
Right.
requires certain procedure because they have to take the light off and so on. So that's what happened.
So in 2008, I was in Ghana, and they had issues with their lights. They had to make public announcements before they took the lights to work on it. I've never seen it. We have been in Nigeria for how many years? I've never seen it. They sent messages, text messages to people's phones, residents in the area, that they were going to take this light for so amount of hours, and when they are done, they will bring back the light. And that was exactly what happened. Okay. How do we get to that place? Because in my area, I'm talking for my area now, they just take the light for weeks and nobody has said anything to you. We now have to start talking to the CDA chairman to find out what has happened in the community.
Well, we are almost there. In fact, in some cases, we're there. Because I'm sure members of the audience, some of them here can confirm that we do send text messages. We do inform people about planned maintenance or when there's fault or there's outage or planned outages. But that is not to say that it is enough. I go around like this, and some of my colleagues do the same thing, all the heads of communication and all the discos, to ensure that we give more and more information. We even try now to get very thoroughbred professionals from even the media houses. Now recently we have people like Suleiman Alede with us in the co.
We heard.
We're having another person.
Who's the
We're having another lovely lady from TVC very soon in Ibadan Disco. One of your newscasters is coming with us now. So what we are doing is to go out there, if possible, we can even get Murayo across.
Yeah.
You know,
we
are on that. You see, we are on that. We are rebranding. And we're trying our best to walk the talk. It's not enough to just talk. We need to do something about it.
Let's look at it like this. Yes, you're doing a lot of rebranding, but then people are calling for a total overhaul. In fact, cancellation of the discos. Senator representing, was it Ondo Ekiti, one of the constituencies Ekiti, was calling for a total cancellation. And
even our VP
of the discos the VP has joined the discos, the Bini Power Holding, the Bini Distribution Company.
Yes.
Because I can attest to that. The people in Ore, they don't know light. My sister-in-law had to install a solar system, which is what all of us rely on. Good. So what exactly are you people calling for? Do you agree that we need a total removal of this contract? They need to look into those contracts. Well, the discos are not really meeting up.
I don't want to be too technical, but I've said it here on this program and elsewhere several times, that even if you go to heaven to hire an angel or malaika, you will not solve that problem unless and until you solve the problem of Naira and Kobo.
Okay.
You cannot sit down and want to be politically correct. I can sit down here and tell you a lot of things, but the truth of the matter is that you cannot talk about efficiency without linking that efficiency with pricing. You cannot be underselling a product and expect there to be miracle in Ore or in Benin or in Kafanshan or Benin Kabi. What we need to do is what I've always been saying, alignment. If you do not align the value chain, it will not happen. So let us say you want to cancel. Okay, or you want to say, these investors, $1.4 billion, take your money and go. They'll be very happy to go. Bring the new one under the same atmosphere, the same circumstances, same regulatory inconsistencies. What you are going to get is the same thing. So I always say, what matters to me as a person, having left my own comfort zone to come to Nigeria, is to put Nigeria first. And when you put Nigeria first, it doesn't matter who the investor is, it doesn't matter who the operators are. What matters most is, are we doing the right thing? Have we put in place the right regulatory framework? Are we just doing it for people to clap for us
so
and be happy?
Saying now, today, that the discos generally are not making profit?
No.
They're not making profit?
Not at all.
Right.
You can confirm this from NEC. Even go on their website, you get the point of what I'm talking about. Yes.
This I can attest to. I will bring evidence.
Okay.
So when we moved to Obadore, where I always complain to you about the light problem, I took over my parents' responsibility on bills. I went to the distribution company at Igondo and made sure they had a meter assigned to us. They didn't even assign a meter, they assigned an account. I paid for 5 years and I used to document it in a folder. 5 years after, they came and said, that account is no longer working. Apparently, I had been paying to a private account of a boss. Then it was PHCN. And that other account was no, they assigned another account. There was a new boss in that place. They assigned another account where to pay to. And every time they will make an error deliberately in the name, the spelling of the name that you give to them, or the house number deliberately, so that you have to keep coming back. We have paid. They said you pay up to a certain amount before they will come and install meter. We paid for that amount of years. They didn't come and install the meter. Eventually, a staff under them came to the house and said, you should have just called me that you want meter. So we eventually had to pay him to come and install meter. That is not going through the deliberate. No. This is something I wanted desperately.
So did you get the meter?
He finally brought a meter that he clocked in. That was the old meter. Now I've been in process with the Ikeja Disco presently to get a prepaid meter. It took the intervention of NEC recently to come and install that meter, and I still cannot pay. So you cannot remove internal corruption within. You have to investigate it.
Let me just add one more personal story, just so you understand the gravity of what I'm saying. We've been asked in our estate to pay extra on top of, they've even given us the extra amount we need to pay on what we get every month so we can have electricity. And my husband is like, I'm not going to pay. If you like, give this light to me, and you don't. So people in my estate have been asked to pay extra apart from that to ensure that they get light all the time.
Hey!
Okay. No doubt there are a lot of corruption within the power sector, even along the value chain. And within the discourse, the interface with people, we have a lot of that, especially this sort of stories. But I keep saying, and I'm pleading with Nigerians, these people that say, pay us extra to give you extra hours, they are human beings, they are known, they are somewhere. If nobody does any, for me as a person though, if you do me that favor, and you just link me with your husband, let me talk to him. We need to make an example. The reason why things are going on like this in Nigeria is that there are no consequences. Report. If we look at it like it's normal, then it will continue. So all I'm saying is that there's no doubt about that. But I'm happy that in Nima's case, that is his own issue. We're near,
we have
final resolution.
It's just to buy
and this morning we have agreed we're going to Ikeja Electric.
Okay.
If possible,
Let's go to the break.
solve it.
When we come back, we'll talk to our audience to find out their own issues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So let's take a few comments from the audience. Go ahead, please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Otumba Oduto. My name is Aregbeshola Olanrewaju. I have some issues here that I want to raise. I am the PRO of my CD, and I was watching this program last week, and I learned you are coming this week. I took my time to make sure I am here to present these issues before you. One, it's on the pro now that people are stealing cables from meter in Ikorodu, especially. I can talk fervently for my area. And at the last count, I think about 18 transformers. The cables have been stolen from them and bringing those people in perpetual darkness. The cable cost us almost 400,000. We bought it. And the undertaking manager told us that we have to write a letter that we are donating the cable.
That's the norm.
We are donating the cable to the discos for them to restore light back to us, or else we won't get light. We will wait till God knows. It has been happening. We just resolve it. I have evidence of that.
Okay.
That is one.
Okay.
The second one is the undertaking manager too. Sometimes we just come to any transformer that has been happening. We just remove them from, you disconnect them from the national grid, saying they are owing so much on that transformer. Meanwhile, there are some customers that are not owing. It is because we are in a society like Nigeria. If we are other societies, some of those customers may take legal actions against them.
Yes.
Okay.
That is number 2. Number 3, the issue of crazy billings.
Estimated billing.
Well, yes, I'm not talking about estimated billings now. Crazy billings. They'll just bring like 50,000, 40,000 to a place that has been paying 10, 15,000.
Okay. Let's hold on that. Sir, let me let you respond to those 3 questions.
Thank you very much. I'll start with the last. Crazy or estimated billing. Not all estimated billings are crazy, and not all estimated billings are accurate. The answer and the solution to that is just pretty soon, which is metering. Once you are metered, that will sort out that problem, because sometimes when you say an area that has been paying 3,000 naira before, that 3,000 or that 5,000 may have been completely underbilled, or it could be that following that or past that period of 3,000, 5,000, there has been an increase in supply in the same area. Is arguable, but the only way to solve that problem is metering, and that's why we have MAP. With MAP now coming on board, I can assure you that all these arguments will be able to surmount it, but I apologize in the meantime for that. Undertaking manager going to disconnect a whole community, that is unacceptable. That is not what we asked them to do, and I'm glad I'll take this feedback back. Fortunately, my sister Nima is holding me now, following me to tie her apart to my agbada to Ikeja. That should be one of the things I'm going to say. If you don't mind, after the program, let me have the exact area, because we need to fish out this undertaking manager, and he can tell us who asked him to disconnect the whole community. You see, we do not want bad practices. We do not want the old bad practices. We've invested a lot on training. Ikeja Electric just funded a brand new training institute now, and all the discos too, we're spending so much to train our staff. If you have 30 people on a transformer, just because 20 of them are owing does not mean that we should take out that transformer. What we should do is to serve the debtors the proper disconnection notice, and then disconnect the 20 and leave the 10. Sometimes it is out of laziness on the part of our staff, because it's an easy thing. When you take out the transformer, you don't need to do anything. So we'll correct that, and I apologize for that. Cables, stolen cables. Again, that comes back to the issue of theft and vandalism. And this is rampant all over the country. In fact, it is linked to the issue of us informing people that there will be outage. We did it in Kano. There's an area called Bumpai in Kano. And we noticed that every time we tell our customers that there will not be light on Saturday because we are doing planned maintenance or certain thing, or trying to fix a fault, or to install a new infrastructure or something, the vendors go to work because they know that there will not be lights in that street. So again, that's another problem, but we have to weigh both. We cannot say because they'll be vandalizing, then we keep our customers in the dark. We don't tell them what's going on. Okay, we are working on all of that, and I also tell people, and I'm appealing to you, sir, that the transformer in your area is your property in a way. You need to, the way you have, I know there are many areas, like my area too in Abeokuta, people that we call about there, you know, we have night guards and people, security people. Secure your transformer as well, show interest in it, and we try to site transformer now in places that are not hidden, so that in the neighborhood, you can all look at it. Because whenever anything happens to that transformer, it is our responsibility at discos to fix it. But I'm afraid I was at a disco recently, the MD showed me 297 requests for transformers and so on, and showed me their bank account. Because I went there to complain on behalf of some customers. They could only fix 17 immediately, which means the other people will have to wait. And good people like you now say, let's buy our 10. I'm happy my learning sister is here. The issue of signing off things to them is a legal step. It's not done to shortchange our people. It is to provide some legal protection for the industry. Why? If you fix your transformer, and then later the issue of ownership comes on board, and then we'll be facing another problem. We have stress already. I put on this agbada to reduce my stress. Let me start from there. The issue of the regulation. There are already regulations. I'm happy you're a lawyer. It's something you can even check up on NEC website. The reason why I don't see a lot of players coming up to do this thing is because of Naira and Kobo. But they found out that people either cannot or are not willing to pay for what it will cost to do maybe mini-grid or embedded generation. I was at Eco Disco yesterday. We had a town hall meeting on something I just said in VI yesterday. People came up with that, but I met a man who actually is into that kind of business, but has told me that the reason why they have not started is because when they realize the cost, the landing cost, the cost of production, and when they now think about top-up, it goes high up. Again, we support anything that can give people light. And the sky is so wide, and there are regulations in place so that when you're coming into my father's house, my franchise area, my land, my own, there are things we talk about so that you can do your own, even within the space of my father's compound. So it's not as if we are preventing anybody from coming. People are not, some things are easier said than done. Nigeria is a country where I see people Enudun Jakara or something. Enudun Rofo, you can use your mouth to cook. But when it comes to doing the actual thing, you begin to see the cost of Atarodo and all those things. Now, so that's, we are not preventing people. We're just praying that the federal government can come up with framework that will make it easy. Then the issue of what do people do? Yes. Every single disco now have a website. Okay. And ANEDA represent, we also have a website. We always tell people, as you go into their website and report, just punch that same button on your phone. Do the same thing with ANED. We'll take it up. For us, we get in touch with you one by one. And we follow up with your complaint, follow it through. Because you see, my stress will be reduced when people have light. My stress will be reduced when people tell me, like one of the gentlemen here, one of the cameramen told me this morning, I have light a lot now in my area. I'm always happy to hear that. Unlike the other one, the other time who said, until today I won't lay. You see, I will want people to be making use of the website, complain, and complain. Right. Cabal of generators, that has been there from time immemorial, even when Chief Pola was made a minister in this country before privatization. Again, only the media can help us, and you are great influencers. When you see something, please say something.
So we have some questions on Twitter. Kennedy Igwe says, please ask your guest, how ideal is it that you request for a meter from the discos and you're told to get at least 30 people who also need it before you can be given one?
I don't know about that one. No. But they should be telling us the disco involved.
Okay.
If I knew about that, my own is to call the MD of that disco to know. When has it become a rule that my neighbors must need something before I can get it? But again, MAP is here. MAP has landed. The good thing about MAP is that Morale needs a meter. All Morale needs to do, fill a form, pay to the designated bank, and Morale will be metered. 67,000 for three-phase meter, 37,000 naira for single-phase meter. Okay. That will solve the problem.
Okay, yes. Okay, there's a question on Twitter. Baby Success says the system does not work. This is Agodi Ibadan Disco has suspended billing. I once detained 4 employees in my compound till we got a meter. Even my dad, the former governor, wrote them, still no meter. Otumba, your staff are lazy and they are corrupt.
Okay, let me just take one last comment from the audience because she's waiting for it. Just very quickly, a few seconds.
Thank you very much. My name is Faith. I want to say it that for more than 3 years now, we have paid for prepaid meter and we have not gotten it in my area. I am also from Ikorodu. And another thing that they do when it is time for them to come and, I don't know, I want to ask that question, that why is it always like that? When it's time for them to come and operate in my area, they will bring the light from morning about 8 o'clock till 6 p.m. in the evening. And when they finish operation, they take off the light and will not have light for about 1 week, 2 weeks, going on like that. Okay. And I also want to say too, the people from Ikeja distribution, they are really, really not customer friendly. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So that's our last question.
Thank you very much.
I think he's already said that.
Madam Faith, yes.
Yes, we're not going to go.
Yes. Issue of customer friendly staff. Like I said, we are investing so much on training, but we're also very happy to see if we can make example of some of our staff. Again, what will help is if people can report. For me and for those of you in the audience, at least the privilege of knowing these beautiful women is that if any of them get to know about any of those things, I will get to know. If I get to know, I can assure you, if that's the only thing I can achieve, we shall achieve that.
They have to run, unfortunately, but,
Yes.
but for the MAP, how do they reach MAP? The meter asset provider, how
Yes.
can they reach MAP?
You reach MAP through the discos.
So you go to
are
the
working
website?
on the MAP. Yes. What they are doing now is the last level of making people to know the simplest way of getting into it. But definitely is hand in hand with the discos.
Okay.
The disco is what you are working on that map.
So they walk up to the disco.
To the disco, I want the meter on the map.
Yes.
They will give you the form to fill. After that, they will now tell you where to pay and how much to pay. They will do the initial, they will check. Now, for those who have paid, that's a good point. When you pay for prepaid meter 3 years ago and you have not got any, please, if you still have your receipt, keep it. You are entitled to that one. That one is even going to come from that disco.
Not from the map.
It's your right.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take. Thank you so much, Otumba.
Thank you.
I hope we got some clarity on this. So at least if you're not metered, you definitely know that the map is here now and you can get metered. And once that happens, it ends estimated building. You now can monitor what you're getting. So that at least it reduces the stress that we have. Thank you once again. All right. That's all we can take. Thanks again to Cream Slices for our cake. We didn't even acknowledge our cake. Thank you so much for the cake. Beautiful cake. All right. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.